Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Welcome in, welcome in. This is the show where we pull stuff at random from Mega Wheel the Magnificent, and whatever topic comes up, that's what we're talking about. How are you doing today, Bunny?
I am getting over a cold, so I apologize if anybody hears some croakiness and the throatiness.
Well, and we are in a kind of low-rent studio here. We don't have cough buttons, so feel free to cough away. I'll try to, as they say, fix it in the mix.
I'm all about fixing it in post. How many times have I heard that this week?
From a video production point of view on your side, audio production on my side, let us both assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that no matter what type of media you're working in, if anybody ever says, hey, we'll just fix it in the mix, they're a liar. Can you fix stuff in video in the mix?
I can, actually. That's what they pay me for.
But if your raw tracks
it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, I mean, the end result is going to be garbage.
I had to break a filmmaker's heart once. I felt so terrible because the guy was a really good guy. He really put his heart into this. Was one of these 24-hour film festival things.
Yeah.
He hired me to do the editing on it. And he sent me stuff, and two of the cameras were bad, and the audio was bad all the way around, so all they had was a far shot, like a 4-shot.
Ooh.
It's basically a long shot.
Yeah.
And he was like, but you can fix it, right? You can fix it. I was like, I am sorry. And the poor guy went out and sat on the front stoop of the house and cried. I felt terrible for it because he spent all this time and all these actors and actresses, and I was just like, there's nothing.
Yeah. If
can't work miracles, unfortunately.
If the audio had been better, would there have been more to work with?
If the audio had been better, I could have figured out ways of it would have looked like you were watching a stage play, but we could have at least gotten some project out. But,
right. And that's something that I've noticed, like indie film projects, if there's one thing that suffers, it's usually the audio.
Oh yeah.
The audio will make something like that unwatchable. Even if the video is kind of cool, or if the video is trash, if the audio is good, it gives you something to lean on, Yeah,
I always tell filmmakers, especially new ones, if you have extra cash, don't worry about fancy special effects or fancy lighting or whatever. Hire an audio guy or gal to make sure that you get the best sound, because anything else can be added in post. But man, audio, I mean, you can ADR stuff, but it's not the same.
Yeah, you literally, audio is the stuff that you really can't fix in the mix.
True.
You can auto-tune vocals. You can move things a little bit. If a hit is a little bit behind the beat with digital editing, you can fix that kind of thing. But if there's a dropped beat, if the feel is off, if things aren't together, you literally will spend 10 times the amount of time that you did just getting a good raw track trying to fix a crappy raw track.
Listen to these nerds.
Nerds! Should we give the wheel a spin?
Yeah, let's spin that wheel on, so we can get out of this hole we're digging.
And we are spinning Mega Wheel the Magnificent. Over 500 topics and questions. And we're spinning, and come on. Okay, this is kind of weird. It's not a question, it's just a topic. Top 5 crushes.
Top 5 crushes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how to handle that. I assume it means like for us chicks.
Why don't we pick a okay, I'm going to throw this back on Scott.
Ooh, okay.
What are your top 5 crushes from when you were a child?
When I was a child?
Yeah.
Again, are we talking about like sexual crushes? Or
yeah,
just
like
things,
who were the girls that you thought were super hot when you were between 5 and 10?
Between 5 and 10. Oh Lord.
Let's say 5 and 12 then. We'll give you a little wiggle room.
I know one of them we share, and it would be Erin Gray from Buck Rogers.
True.
Was absolutely one. And also then as now to this day, Alyssa Milano. Without a doubt. Just amazing. So yeah, that would be my answer right there. I'd go with Alyssa Milano.
We still have 3 more to go.
Oh, we need 5? I need 5. Jesus.
Mega Wheel will not be denied.
I can't remember her name. The actress that played Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, Dawn Wells.
Dawn Wells. Absolutely. And see, I'm trying to picture myself at that age where you're just like pre-adolescent and early adolescent.
The sexual awakening of young Scott.
Yeah. That's really tough. And the thing is, we're in my studio too, so I don't. This is all music in here. I'm not sure. Lord, I'm at a loss.
Oh man,
beyond those.
Peter's
3.
out at 3.
If you let me go into like teen years,
no, that's too easy.
Well,
that's
but
easy.
But it's not really. Because, crushes, especially like actresses, musicians, things like that. Mm-hmm. I would definitely, if we go into teen years, Neve Campbell, from Party of 5 onward. Not only is she a great actress, she's also Canadian. She's also super hot.
Canada seems to crank out a lot of hotties.
Absolutely.
It's like Canada is like the Iowa of countries. Because, man, I'll tell you, those corn-fed dames from Iowa, I love them.
Yeah, and I would also go with a musician, Heather Nova, singer-songwriter.
All right.
So I don't even remember who all I've said now, but those would be my 5.
All right. When I was a very young child and MTV came about, I was on the cutting edge of getting that. We had cable, and I remember one of their first transmissions. One of my first crushes was Martha Quinn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
VJ from MTV.
Yep.
I was also in love with Patti Smith from Scandal.
Okay.
I saw the Warrior video and fell head over heels for a painted Patti Smith. This is very young child.
Oh, I want to change one of mine.
Oh.
Susanna Hoffs.
Okay.
The Walk Like an Egyptian video when she does that little side eye. Holy crap, dude. Oh my God.
I was more of a Michael Steele guy.
The bass player. Yeah. Actually, any one of the Bengals. The
Peterson they're all
sisters.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Okay.
Was definitely a big one for me. Going back, I really, I had a crush on Lady Eberlin from Mr. Rogers. I thought when she was very young, before she went like total frazzle hair hippie, I had a thing for her when I was very young. And I'll tell you.
Did you feel a little bit dirty about that?
Not at all, because when I was a child, I didn't think about a sexual aspect. I just thought, boy, this is the girl I'm going to marry when I get older. One of those kind of, I'm trying to set myself up for future accomplishments or whatever, future mates. But I'll tell you, our 6th grade project ascent teacher, I had a major crush on her, and I cannot remember her name to save my life.
I can. I'm not going to say it, though.
Oh, you should.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Well, I'll say it. Project Ascent teacher, you were formative to my young days.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. It was sometimes hard to focus on what was going on in the class at the time, just because of, like, watching.
Well, I'll tell you, she was young, she was beautiful, and she was just super supportive. That's the thing. I mean, she was like everything I wanted in a wife in 6th grade. Was this whole, like, she had it all. She was funny. She had a great smile. She went out of her way to just do crazy things for us kids and make us, help us make our projects come to life.
Yeah, she rolled with the punches with our odd requests.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we were learning computer programming, like, is it okay if we create a game show based on the librarian at our school? Sure, go with it.
Yeah, she was pretty great. So that would be mine.
Okay, crushes. That was really tough. I mean, you would think you would be able to whip off a bunch of crushes right off the top
if I
of your
go into
head,
my teen years, I can whip off 20 more probably.
Yeah,
but these were childhood.
But see, to me, a crush is more than just seeing a video and liking somebody. A crush is something that's kind of extended over time, like somebody that sticks with you.
Okay.
But that's just me too. I mean, we could sit here and argue the definition of
these were the days
too.
before the internet where you couldn't really, find out too much information about these people. So I was quite content with seeing a girl and saying, wow, she's really pretty.
Yeah. But it was the ones that you could see more. Like if an artist had a video on heavy rotation on MTV, keeps coming up, you get more and more each time. Or like a teacher or something like that.
I will say, with all my time in film and television and all the conventions that I've attended, that I've been a guest in, where you get to actually like mingle with the stars and all that, the only woman I've ever met that I was absolutely tongue-tied around was Erin Gray.
That completely makes sense to me.
I ran into her. I saw her getting into an elevator, and she smiled. And I was like, oof. So I immediately went to the stairwell and ran down the stairs, like 3 flights of stairs, to catch her when she got off.
Absolutely. I would have done the same thing.
And she stopped and said hi and, shook my hand and all that jazz. And I just stood there like a dummy, smiling. So I finally got to actually talk to her the next morning, but I was just...
Did she remember you the next morning?
She did, yeah. And the ironic thing is I've seen her at 4 other conventions, and she remembers my name every time.
Awesome.
So she's always like, hey, Bunny, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. And, I love that name. And I was like,
that's fantastic.
And the thing is, she's obviously an older woman now. She's an elder woman now even, and she still looks incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the yoga. I don't know if it's the living out west or what is going on, but she still looks really good.
That's a weird thing to me, is that like you and I, when I picture you as you were when you were younger. I picture me as I was when I was younger. I don't really see the me now when I look in the mirror. And it's odd because some people age differently. We all do. Everybody's a different bag of chemicals. And to see somebody like, I think Erin Gray is a great example. If you factor in her age, picture what she looked like when Buck Rogers was on, and picture her now. She looks exactly like you would expect an older version of Erin Gray to look like. And not everybody's like that.
No.
People age radically differently. Like, I've seen pictures of some people in their younger years versus today, and they don't even look like the same person. So I think she's one of that small quantity of people that literally just ages into the person you expected them to age into. And people are now going to think, oh, they're commenting on women's. It's not. It's not just
how misogynistic. Whatever. Deal with it.
Everybody. It's male, female. It doesn't matter.
That's a Gen X. I mean, we don't have the same hang-ups you do. So.
Yeah, exactly. Should we spin the wheel again, or
definitely
keep hacking on crushes?
No. I think we've worn out our welcome on crushes.
So, Mega Wheel of Magnificent is spinning, 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 and our next topic will be, oh Lord, favorite game show and why.
Wow. Okay.
I have a fear that both of our favorite game shows is going to be the same one.
You might be surprised, actually. My favorite game show after years and years of game show consumption.
Yeah.
And I love me some game shows. Don't get me started on that. Love me some game shows. My all-time favorite game show to kick back and just have a good laugh at is the 1990s version of Supermarket Sweep.
What?
I love that show. It is so badly done.
I've never even seen it.
You have not seen it? Oh,
no.
my God. I will have to school you, young man.
Lord.
It is truly a thing of beauty.
Why?
It's hilarious.
Because that was a key component of the question. Why?
Why do I love it so much? It's shoddily produced. I think it was produced for Lifetime one of those stations like that.
Here's your one camera and a mic. Go film stuff.
Well, apparently Supermarket Sweep was actually a game show from back in the 50s or 60s, and this is another revival show. The host, David Ruprecht, is his name. He wore like a different kind of crazy Cosby-style sweater every episode.
If your game show host is in a sweater.
And he's just very affable, and he wasn't bombastic like some game show hosts or anything. He was just this kind of normal, goofy guy. And they have, questions about food, of course, and they've set up a fake grocery store. Now, actually, I watched a documentary on Supermarket Sweep.
There's a documentary about it.
Yeah, it was very short. Apparently, the first couple of shows they did, the pilot episodes when they were selling it, they shot it in an actual grocery store. Now, the whole idea is that you run around, you have so much time that you build up during the questions phase, and at the end, every team has so many seconds that they have their carts, and they can run through the grocery store and put like up to 5 of every type of item in their cart.
Okay.
And take it back, and whoever has the biggest total at the end wins. Now, the original Supermarket Sweep used to be able to keep the groceries. This was back in the 50s or 60s, plus you win money. Well, now it's just you win money.
Okay.
Because everybody buys the same thing on the game show, it seems like, because they've all figured out what the highest priced items are.
Well, yeah, you go to the meat department and
exactly.
5 T-bones, 5 sirloins.
She wants those Smithfield hams, look at her. And then there's an announcer talking this whole way through this frenzied buying process.
You got to wonder about the strategy going to the spam aisle.
The problem with the original, the pilot, was they said they had to shoot it like 4 or 5 times to get people to finally go along with it, because people were filling their carts with like bottles and bottles of liquor and condoms and female hygiene products and all this stuff, because they're all very expensive, but this was all stuff that they couldn't put on regular broadcast television.
Why can't you put that on regular broadcast television?
They didn't want to push that kind of stuff, so they had people sponsor it, and they built a fake grocery store.
Okay. And
I've always had fantasies of, people always run past the fruit.
Yeah.
They run past the magazines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've always been like, wouldn't it be great if you went to the fruit and you just took like 5 individual grapes and dropped them into your cart? And of course they fall out of your cart the whole time. The deal is, if anything falls out of your cart and you leave it, you get penalized that amount of that price.
Aww.
So this whole idea of just doing stupid stuff. This was sort of a what would you do if you got to be on that show? It combines all that. You remember in the 80s when they used to have KB or Toys R Us contests where it's like you get let loose in the store for
you get like 1 minute in a cart,
and you can put whatever you want in it. It's an extension of that, so it's complete mania. The contestants are all very 90s, like very early 90s. This is like 1990.
Oh, I thought you meant they were like 90 years old and hobbling along. No. That would be fun. I would pay to see that.
So it's got this whole thing where they choose the contestants, and they're in the audience, and everybody in the audience, every couple in the audience has a food item in their lap. And it's like, all right, who has the scope? And you're on. And they stand up and they shake their product excitedly and run to the front.
Terrible.
It is so bad. It's great. So, sorry, see, I just nerded out on Supermarket Sweep.
But it goes along with, like, your taste in movies, too. Like
He's basically subtly telling you I have taste for shit.
No, not taste for shit. Just there's a certain window, a certain niche that entertains you more than the average person.
I will say, one of my second favorite, probably, I love Double Dare, the Nickelodeon Double Dare, but I have a soft spot for Legends of the Hidden Temple. If they're talking about Nickelodeon shows where they have to run through the haunted Mayan temple being harassed by temple guards. It's so bad. It's fun to watch kids just freak the hell out and screw up, and it's
anybody
delicious.
That's the thing behind game shows. If you're one of those people that says, I like watching game shows because I like to see people win, you probably don't doom scroll the internet.
They're watching
Jeopardy
like and boring stuff
like
that.
And Jeopardy's fun. I love watching Jeopardy, but
Jeopardy's too sanitary.
It depends on who's on. My 2 favorite game shows would obviously be Price is Right.
Mm-hmm. Is this the Bob Barker era?
The Bob Barker era, but even the more modern stuff, because the games haven't really changed.
No.
Plinko is still Plinko.
This is true.
You can't get away from the wonder of that kind of stuff. But to watch The Price is Right and guess things and know the right answer and watch people just completely freak out because they're on stage, and you know somebody's generally going to lose as soon as they're on stage talking to Bob, and then they turn to the audience for help.
Oh, that's
as
so
soon,
lame.
yeah, as soon as they turn to
I've
the
lost
audience,
all respect for you. Once you turn to the audience,
you're done. When you get on stage for The Price is Right, you pay no attention to the audience. You've been in grocery stores. You know about how much most stuff costs. If you stop and think about it, it's hard to lose. It really is.
Well, unless you're from out of state. Because that, of course, was filmed in Studio City, Burbank, in California.
Yeah, so
and California grocery store
bit.
prices are terrifying.
Sure. But still, the amount of times, because during the summers, we used to watch together on the phone. And, how often did we watch? And we're both, at age 10, we're giving the right answer. Sure. And the person on stage misses it, and we're just like, we could have been millionaires just going on and offering, I'll go up on stage as tribute and win for people.
Could have owned my weight in jet skis.
Yeah. Oh, God. And some of the prizes were just awful.
A new catamaran. Oh,
but great. The other game show that I like, it just right up there tied with it, was Press Your Luck.
Oh, yeah.
Because of, obviously, the cartoons, but just the sheer...
Now, this is the Peter Tamarkin era, not the whatever the other guy, the 90s version.
I'll take the 90s version, too, because they didn't really change it. But the complete randomness of it. Now, apparently there was a cycle, because apparently somebody figured it out, and they were just killing it. But it was, for all intents and purposes, random.
Yeah.
Wherever you hit the button, that's where things were going on. And it was just one of those things. It was just so much fun because you just waiting for people to press. They press, they keep going. You're screwed.
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to love stuff like that.
And it had a rabid fan base because people were writing in poems, little limericks and little haikus or whatever to the whammies.
Yeah, and that was the best part, was the fandom, because you knew that 80% of the people watching the show were rooting for the whammies.
Of course.
Your grandma could be on there. You're still rooting for the whammies.
We all love the villains.
Yeah. Well, in most things. Okay. That about does it. We've hit our time mark. That is the Gen Existentialists for this time. Parting thoughts on crushes or game shows?
Crushes and game shows?
Yes.
I did love me some Lacey from Card Sharks. If you remember that one.
I do.
She was one of the card turners. She was a nice raven-haired beauty. Used to come out in her nice sequins dresses, tall, slim sequins blue dresses.
See,
what a delight.
That was the one thing that Press Your Luck did not have, was the hostess. You got whammies instead.
Don't forget Tammy Whammette.
Yeah, fair point. To me, though, that was the one thing that Press Your Luck was missing, was the hot hostess. Anyway, that's Gen Existentialist for this time. We thank you for joining us. What's the email address for the show?
The email address is now, we've got this big collective email address for all of our podcasts and radio shows. It's morningpizzaradio@proton.me. That's proton.me.
And you can also check out the Facebook page for Morning Pizza Radio. Check that out. It's got information on us, the Gen Existentialists, and all the other shows that are under the Morning Pizza umbrella. Until next time, I'm Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.